My name is Anwin, and I'm 35 years old. I have been married to my husband, Lucius, who is 2 years older than me, for 3 years. We don't have children yet, but we have a good relationship and live happily together. However, our lives were turned upside down by the appearance of a certain person. Well, everyone, let's have a good day today. I am a cooking class instructor teaching students in a corner of a building. I have always loved cooking, so I think this job is my calling. One day, a person who wanted to take a trial lesson came to the classroom.
It's been a while, Anwin. How have you been?
Wilma, why are you here? It was my childhood friend, Wilma. Wilma's parents and my parents were friends from their school days. Therefore, we often saw each other. But I disliked Wilma, because she had always looked down on me as clumsy. Even at my wedding 3 years ago.
Hey, Anwin's husband works for a big company, right? He's tall, handsome, and rich. Why would someone like him marry a clumsy woman like Anwin? Oh, I don't mean it in a bad way. I just think you two are a completely mismatched couple. Don't you think I would be a better match for him? I even talked to him earlier, and he didn't seem to mind.
Wilma insulted me, saying I was not a good match for my high-spec husband. So, I hadn't contacted Wilma once in the 3 years since my wedding. Such Wilma came to take a trial lesson at the cooking class where I work. What on earth is she thinking? Then she smiled and said,
You're wondering why I'm here, aren't you? Actually, I'm getting married. I wanted to tell you, Anwin.
Married?
Yes, guess who? It's Lucius.
What? What did you just say?
Well, it's surprising, isn't it? You might not have noticed, but we've been involved since we met at your wedding.
What? You two have been deceiving me?
Deceiving sounds so bad. I told you back then, didn't I? That I would be a better match for him than you. He didn't seem to mind either. It's your own fault for being clumsy and losing him.
How could you say such a terrible thing?
And one more thing, I have a secret child with him. We have adorable twin daughters who will soon be 2 years old. I was planning to tell you when they got a little older, but I thought it would be better for the children to have a complete family sooner. You can't be happy staying with him. So, will you divorce him?
She took out a blank divorce paper from her bag. You went out of your way to get this?
Yes, because I want you to divorce him quickly. I don't even want to waste time sending you to get the divorce papers. Just so you know, he doesn't care about you anymore. So, clinging to him won't help. It will only make you more miserable, so it's better for you to accept the divorce.
She said with a nasty smile. She must have come all this way to see my frustrated face. However, my reaction betrayed her expectations. All right. If you want to marry my husband that badly, I'll give him to you.
What? Are you really okay with that so easily?
You said it yourself, didn't you? That accepting it would be better for me. I thought so too. So, I'll give him to you. I'll have him sign the divorce papers as soon as I get home, and then you can do whatever you want.
I see. If that's the case, then fine.
Wilma couldn't hide her surprise at my unexpected reaction. Then I finished work and went home to tell my husband what had happened today.
I've heard. I'll pay alimony, so please divorce me.
Paying alimony is a given. I won't ask for anything more. We both signed the divorce papers as we talked. The next morning, I immediately packed my things and left the house where we had lived for 3 years. And I muttered to myself, Finally, I'm free according to plan. Yes, this was all according to my plan. Those two, who know nothing, will be plunged into the depths of hell after this. It happened sooner than expected. That's all for today. Thank you, everyone. The following week, Wilma, who had completed the trial lesson procedures, did not show up. I thought she couldn't face me after what had happened. However, Wilma. When I left the classroom after the lesson, there she was, sitting on the ground with her knees hugged. The moment she heard my voice, Wilma looked up, and she seemed somewhat haggard after just 1 week.
Anwen, help me. I don't know what to do.
First, can you tell me what happened? When I asked her that, Wilma started to speak hesitantly.
After you left the house, we got remarried. We moved into that house with the daughters. And then I noticed something.
Noticed what?
Demand letters started arriving. Many of them addressed him. At first, I thought it was a mistake and ignored them, but they kept piling up at the entrance without him even looking at them. I got really anxious and secretly opened one. It turns out he has debts. He seems to have borrowed large sums of money from various companies in small amounts, and he hasn't been paying them back at all. I asked him what was going on, but he kept saying it was none of my business. What should I do? It's good that he's still an employee at a big company, but I had no idea he had so much debt. And you didn't know about it either, did you, Anwen? Even though something like that happened, I'm sure you would have told me, your childhood friend, about it.
Wilma looked at me as she said that. I decided to tell Wilma the truth. I knew.
What did you say?
I knew he had a lot of debt from before. The envelopes kept arriving. But by the time I realized it, it was already too late. A new envelope arriving means he borrowed money from another place again.
No way.
It's not a lie. Earlier, Wilma said she didn't know what the debt was for, but it's all for gambling. He's aiming for a big win. Yes, he's severely addicted to gambling. Before we got married, he said he hated gambling, but something triggered him to become deeply addicted to it.
A big win? But he's an employee at a major company, right? He should be earning quite a bit compared to others his age. So why does he need to aim for a big win through gambling?
You really haven't been told anything, have you?
What do you mean by haven't been told anything?
I thought he would naturally tell you since you're getting married, but it seems he hasn't told you yet.
So what are you talking about?
It's a lie that he's an employee at a major company.
What? That can't be. You said he was an employee at a major company.
I don't remember saying that. I just smiled quietly when he said he was an employee at a major company. I neither confirmed nor denied it.
No way! Wait! What about his business card? How do you explain that? He gave me a business card from a major company with his name on it.
That's because he works there.
What are you talking about? You just said he's not an employee there.
Yes, he's not an employee there. He's a dispatched worker sent to work there.
What?
The company policy is to give business cards to dispatched workers as long as they work there. He took advantage of that to claim he was an employee there. When I tried to correct him, he would get furious and yell, so I neither confirmed nor denied his words.
No way!
Back to the gambling issue. He started aiming for a big win after he was fired from the company he worked at before becoming a dispatched worker. That company was also quite large, but his naturally boastful personality caused continuous trouble. Eventually, he had a big fight with an important client, which ended the business relationship. He was fired for that reason, along with his usual work attitude. After being fired, he insisted on finding a job at a similarly large company. He desperately searched for a job, but his personality affected his job search, and he couldn't get any offers. So he thought he could work for a major company by becoming a dispatched worker. But being a dispatched worker is unstable, and you never know when the contract will be terminated. That's why he turned to gambling, aiming for a big win. As a result, he became severely addicted to gambling and accumulated a huge debt.
How did you manage to live with so much debt?
I paid for everything. Rent, utilities, living expenses, everything. He didn't have any savings. He gambled away all his money trying to hit the jackpot.
Didn't you ask him to stop gambling?
I did, many times. But he always found an excuse not to quit. At first, he felt guilty about making me pay for everything, but he got used to it and it became normal. So now, he's probably expecting you to pay for everything. This month's payments are going to be tough, aren't they?
No way!
When I said that, Wilma turned pale and fell silent.
Why? Why didn't you tell me when you knew so much?
Why should I have told you?
We've been close since we were kids. Why?
Close since we were kids. You always looked down on me as insensitive and useless, yet you can say that with a straight face? How shameless.
That's not true.
Don't say it's not true. At the wedding, you looked down on me and laughed, saying you were more suitable. And now, even if we were close childhood friends as you say, you had an affair with my husband right after the wedding and pressured me to divorce him? Why should I warn someone like that?
But that's...
Don't act like a childhood friend only when it's convenient for you.
But...
If you understand, leave. I want to finish my work and go home.
Wait. Please, help me. I'm begging you.
Wilma clung to me, apologizing repeatedly and asking for help.
I don't remember looking down on you, but if you felt that way, I'm sorry. And I didn't properly apologize for this situation either. I'm really sorry for everything. Please help me. I can't live a life full of debt with kids. Please, and when, just this once.
Kids, huh?
What? What are you trying to say?
You know exactly what I'm trying to say, don't you?
I don't know what you mean.
I saw you with your twins at the supermarket near the station the other day. They have such pretty faces, nothing like Lucius.
That's not true. They have the same big eyes as Lucius, and their thin lips and sharp noses look just like his.
Wilma said that, but it was clear her eyes were darting around. I handed my phone to Wilma.
Who is this? Whose photo is this?
It's Lucius.
What?
He had plastic surgery. He had it done before we got married. The photo on my phone showed a Lucius that Wilma didn't know. He had small eyes, a bulbous nose, and thick lips. He had undergone plastic surgery before the wedding. This is Lucius when we first met. Even comparing him to this Lucius, I don't think your twin daughters resemble him much. Maybe they're not his children.
Stop it. Of course, they're his children. They don't look like him because they probably take after me. If you're going to be so mean, then fine. I won't rely on you anymore. And don't call me for help either.
I've never called you for help before, and you can rest assured, I won't rely on you or call you in the future either. With that, she turned red with anger and stormed off. However, the next day, someone else came to see me.
Anwin!
It was my ex-husband, Lucius, whom I didn't want to see. For some reason, he seemed quite flustered as he approached me. What is it this time?
Wilma hasn't come home since yesterday.
She hasn't come home?
It looks like she packed up and left with the kids while I was out. I don't remember having any arguments, and I have no idea why she left. I thought she might have come to you, so I came here. Have you heard anything from her?
It seems that after hearing my story, Wilma ran out of the house. I did hear something.
Really? What did she say?
She said you were going to receive a collection notice. So I told her about your debts and your job.
What? Why would you do that?
Wilma asked if I knew anything. There was no reason to hide it, and she wanted to know, so I told her. Then Lucius got angry.
Mind your own business. I was planning to tell her everything myself later. Because of your meddling, Wilma left the house. How could you do that when we have 2-year-old daughters to take care of? And the debt is my problem, not yours. You have no right to talk about it. We're divorced, and you had no right to tell her about my situation.
You're calling me selfish?
What?
Isn't that right? You gambled away all your money and ended up in debt. You left the rent, utilities, and living expenses to me. On top of that, you cheated on me with my childhood friend and handed me divorce papers. And you think you can call me selfish?
That's a different matter.
And let me tell you, Wilma didn't leave in a hurry just because she found out about your situation.
What other reason could there be?
She has secrets just like you. Secrets she absolutely doesn't want to be revealed. I think she ran away before you could find out.
What kind of secrets?
It's been 2 years since the children were born, and you haven't noticed anything strange?
Strange? What do you mean?
Can't you tell by looking at your children's faces? They don't resemble your pre-surgery face at all.
Oh, come on. Are you trying to say that because my daughters don't look like me, they're not my children? That's ridiculous. You're still holding a grudge against us, aren't you? That's why you're making such baseless claims.
If you think I'm lying, that's fine, but can you still not believe me after seeing this? I said, showing Lucius a photo on my phone. The photo showed Wilma walking closely with a man, and twins in a stroller.
What is this? This looks like...
Like a family?
Yeah. What is this photo about?
The man in the photo is Wilma's ex-husband.
What did you just say?
He was Wilma's partner until just before she married you, her ex-husband. Yes, Wilma was married to him until she accepted your proposal. In other words, they were both having an affair.
That's absurd.
I've kept quiet until now, but I knew you were having an affair with Wilma. Even before she confessed to me.
What?
When I consulted a mutual friend, they told me Wilma was married. I was really shocked. I never imagined she was married. That photo was taken by a friend who happened to run into Wilma. They thought it might serve as evidence.
So, does that mean these children are?
Yes, these children are his. I heard it directly from Wilma's ex-husband, so there's no mistake.
Wait, you heard it directly? You met him?
Yes, after learning a lot from that friend, I contacted Wilma's ex-husband. There were many things I wanted to talk about. After learning that Wilma was married, I asked the friend who informed me to help me contact Wilma's ex-husband.
Is it true that Wilma has a lover? And that the lover is your husband?
Yes, unfortunately.
I see.
I have one question.
What is it?
This photo, the twins in it, are they your children?
Yes, they are. Why?
It seems Wilma is raising them as if they are my husband's children.
What?
After hearing my story, he seemed quite surprised. Apparently, he was often away for work and never imagined Wilma was meeting her lover with the children.
But I saw Wilma's belly grow with my own eyes. I visited the hospital when the girls were born. So, they are mine.
Living together, didn't you ever find anything strange?
No, nothing strange.
Who decided the twins' names?
Wilma did. I suggested some names, but they were rejected, and she chose the names.
Who submitted the birth certificates?
Wilma's parents did, according to her.
See, everything is strange. You weren't involved in anything related to the children. Why do you think that is?
I don't know.
She rejected the names you suggested because she had already decided on names with her ex-husband. She didn't ask you to submit the birth certificates because both parents' names are required. Wilma deliberately excluded you from important events for the children. Why? Because you're not the father of those twins.
That can't be.
After thinking for a while, Lucius asked me,
Even if that's true, why would she need to do something like that? We were married, had children, and were living happily. Why would she pretend that his children were mine and create such a situation?
I can't say for sure without asking her, but knowing Wilma's pride and vanity, she probably decided to take you from me when she heard at our wedding that you worked for a major company. She likely thought that having a child with you would be the best way to do that. So, she pretended that his children were yours and led a double life, going back and forth between him and you. Once she secured a marriage with you, she planned to divorce him with some excuse and live as if nothing had happened. She intended for you, who worked at a major company, to support her. That's why she was shocked and turned pale when I told her that you were a temp worker at a major company and had a huge debt from gambling. Lucius listened to my story and then quietly asked,
Why didn't you tell me?
"What?"
Why didn't you tell me? You knew about Wilma's scheme, didn't you? So why did you keep quiet?
Would you have believed me if I had told you? You were so focused on Wilma that you wouldn't have believed me if I said she was deceiving you. You would have said, "That's not true. Stop lying." You wouldn't have even admitted to the affair.
That's not.
And when I found out you were having an affair, I had already decided to divorce you. So there was no need to tell you about Wilma's scheme. I was just thinking about how to get a divorce.
Anwin,
Normally, when someone notices an affair, they confront the person. But I didn't.
why not?
Because I wanted to gather more evidence and be fully prepared for the divorce, so I left you two alone.
Left us alone?
Yes. I found out about your affair when I saw a notification on your phone. But that alone wasn't enough evidence to confront you. The existence of the twins also proved they weren't your children. So I needed solid evidence of your infidelity, which meant not restricting your actions. And I knew Wilma would bring the divorce papers to me. Wilma had always tried to one-up me, so I was sure she would come to gloat if she married you. Until then, both Wilma's ex-husband and I pretended not to notice the affair and collected evidence for the divorce. And as expected, Wilma showed up with the divorce papers, saying she wanted a divorce because she was going to marry you. It was at that moment when I finished speaking. Lucius, who had been listening to me in silence, suddenly began to apologize.
Your story woke me up. Even though I was deceived, I deeply hurt you. I truly regret what I did. Please forgive me.
This was the first time he had apologized to me for the affair. However, there was a reason behind his apology.
I know I was wrong. But I was also a victim of betrayal. I never expected things to turn out this way.
What are you trying to say?
I'll be direct. I want to start over with you. This time, I promise I won't look elsewhere. I swear I'll make you happy. Please, I'm begging you.
The reason for his apology was not out of genuine remorse, but to protect himself after losing everything. It was an apology for his own sake. You and Wilma really are a perfect match.
What are you talking about?
Wilma also apologized and clung to me just like you are now. She begged for forgiveness and help. But I refused her. And I intend to refuse you the same way.
Why?
Why? Can you really ask that after everything you've done to me?
Well, I
will never get back together with you. Absolutely not.
But You're already 35, right? It's impossible for you to find a new partner and get married now. Are you planning to live alone and lonely? It would be better for you to start over with me. It's still okay for men, but for unmarried women, getting older is miserable.
I don't know why you assume it's impossible, but even if it were, I'd be 100 times happier living alone than living with you again, drowning in debt with no savings, and spending all your earnings on gambling.
What?
So no matter what you say, I have no intention of getting back together with you.
But...
Enough already. I have a lesson soon, and it would be a nuisance to my students if you stayed here.
But...
Didn't you hear me? It's a nuisance for you to be here. If you stay any longer, I'll call the police. When I said that, Lucius reluctantly left. A few days later, I heard a rumor that Wilma, with her children, had been found at a friend's house. Eventually, the two divorced. After that, I received a message from Wilma's ex-husband, who had been helping me.
Thanks to the evidence you provided, I was able to claim alimony from Wilma. She was shocked by the amount but eventually agreed to pay. As for the children, I got custody. Although mothers usually have an advantage with young children, I was able to win custody by highlighting the differences in income and childcare environment.
He used the evidence I had gathered to claim alimony from Wilma and won custody of the children.
It seems Wilma returned to her parents' home, but after I told them about the situation, they confronted her, and she was eventually disowned. Now, I have no idea where she is or how she's living.
I see.
How about on your end?
It was similar for him. His parents were furious when they learned the reason for the divorce and told him never to come back. Having lost everything, he now lives alone in a small apartment. Both of them lost everything in pursuit of their ideals. They must be deeply regretting their actions now. However, no matter how much they regret, the past cannot be undone. All they can do is avoid making the same mistakes again. That's all.
How did you like this story? Please subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.